the biggest growth area for me is saying no, but let me help you get to the right person.
Saying, I don't know,
Yeah.
is a great answer. Let me get you the answer. Welcome to StaffBuffalo's Pain Points Podcast. Welcome to the Pain Points Podcast. I'm Lauren Lewis, and I'm here with Candice Miller with Miller Advisory Group. Candice, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'd love to chat with you about your journey and what brought you to starting Miller Advisory Group and the work that you do for your clients within business development and really helping them grow their practices. So if you don't mind, start by telling us your journey.
Absolutely. Very roundabout way. So education was accounting, finance, went into banking, so very boring stuff. Then I got introduced to law firms in the banking sector when I was tasked with auditing them. So that was a very fun part of my life, but really intrigued by what law firms were, how they operated. And then I eventually ended up working for a law firm in business development and on their operations side.
Awesome.
Yes. And then we went through COVID, lots of ups and downs. And on the other side of that, I decided to branch out and start my consulting practice. And it's been 4 years now, and it's been crazy.
Awesome. Good for you. I know. The journey is always fun. The craziness is fun, and you learn, grow, develop with every single crazy thing that's thrown your way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me about the pain points that you've overcome so far in the 4 years that you've had Miller Advisory Group.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's what do you want to offer your clients, right? And where do you want to focus your time and energy? So that's been, a 4-year journey there in kind of landing on what those services are and also what you're not going to do.
Right.
It's really easy to get pulled in 50 different directions because every business, law firms included, they have so many pain points.
Right.
And you want to fix everything, but that's not necessarily in your wheelhouse. So I think that was has been the biggest growing pains, if you will. It is becoming crystal clear on that focus side of it.
When you're starting, you probably want to feel like you want to say yes to everything. We can help you with that. We can help you with that. And then you slowly realize more what you like to do, what you don't like to do, and where you can really see yourself honing in on your expertise and your specialty to help your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and what I've grown the most in that piece is finding other professionals and other fractionals, if you will, who I trust. I know they do good work and can tap them into very specific pieces and pain points. Yeah, that's been, I think, also the biggest growth area for me is what you just touched on is saying no. Yeah. But let me help you get to the right person, right?
I've always said that too. Even if you're asked a question by a client, you don't know the answer. Saying I don't know is a great answer. Let me get you the answer. And let me connect you with the person that will know more than I do on that.
Yes, and I think a lot of times, to what you just touched on, we feel that we have to know the answer. Yeah. But we don't. We just have to know how to look and how to find it, right? And so that's been really the last year I've really focused on that specifically. Yeah. And then there's been so many opportunities that through those channels and referral networks have then come my way. So that's been great. I kind of wish I'd done that 3 years ago.
Yeah. Whenever I talk to people who are starting a business or, growing, I'm like, surround yourself with the experts. Yeah. You don't have to be an expert in anything, just what you do. Yeah. And then having your advisory team around you to help with every little thing that might come up. And you don't know what's going to come up sometimes. So it's always good to just familiarize yourself with different people who are out there who are specialists and experts in different industries that can help you.
Yeah, things change so much. I mean, right now in the legal industry, AI and technology is hitting them very, very hard and quickly. And it's something that lawyers don't love. So
AI or technology or both?
Both. Yeah. Both. And so I think that's a huge pain point right now, but being able to go out to the industry and find those experts to help my clients become more familiar with it, but that's been just the last year what we've been focusing on there.
As you've honed in more on your specialties, what have you found yourself? What are you saying yes to for your clients, and what are the specialties that you really help them with?
Yeah, so I think I'm a business development specialist at heart. I love the strategy behind that. I also love, on the nerdy side, diving into business intelligence and digging into things. So that
data.
I love data. and that's a huge area that law firms struggle with. And so that's where I gravitate towards. but really helping law firms figure out what that looks like internally, and then parlaying that with their revenue generation is really where I love to kind of sit. But a lot of that touches on other things. So a lot of times what the firm thinks their pain point and problem isn't quite.
Yeah.
So you get engaged for one thing, you kind of dive in, and then you realize, okay, well, we could be building this piece of your business development structure out. But before we can even do that, we got to figure out your technology and your data, especially if it's an older firm or they've had a lot of mergers and acquisitions.
Right.
You have a lot of different systems, a lot of different data, and there's no data hygiene or architecture behind it.
So data hygiene, it's like data is not good unless it's cleaned
Has to be
up and can be
clean.
beneficial for what you need to get you the results you want to see.
Exactly.
The information you want to see.
And it's not a one-time thing, right?
Right.
So sometimes before we can even touch on the things that I really love, we got to take a few steps back.
Yeah.
But all the while knowing if we do the hygiene and the data piece of it, then we can hit the ground running with your business development.
Right.
So that's kind of, honestly, the last, specifically I would say 6 months, that's been a huge focus for a lot of firms.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How are you helping them navigate the AI and different technologies that are, we're getting hit with every single day in society?
Yeah, I think it's a few different things there, because I think lawyers are scared that AI will take their place, which is really not going to happen.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a very specialized attorney and you know your craft and it's very, very specific. Yeah, if you're more of a generalist, there could be concerns there, right?
Yeah.
But so I think it's getting them comfortable that for their business, even if we don't touch the legal side right now, if you can harness AI in a very responsible way on your business side, you can make your team so much more efficient.
Absolutely.
So I think that's where I've tended to gravitate towards, because there's so much more open to that. And then also in the legal industry, there's vendors popping up every day. Oh, we have this AI tool, and we have this AI tool. And it's like, okay, well, let's navigate that, because are you going to be around a year from now if we invest in what you are?
I think that's a hard thing for any organization, whether it's a law firm. We recently were looking at a new applicant tracking system and CRM system, and everyone's selling you the AI features of it.
Yeah.
And they're putting a cost on AI within the actual cost itself. And you're like, well, what does this even mean?
Yeah.
So trying to look at that and saying, what is my value of adding this AI component to this system, this database? We don't know.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting to me.
Yeah, so many unknowns there. Yeah, and it's scary, right? Because also you have to look at the back end of that. So okay, if even Copilot, which is a Microsoft system, right? It's supposed to be safe, and obviously nothing's safe today.
Right.
It's just the Salesforce data incident.
It's like you have to have your guard up all the time and be aware.
Yeah, so I think it's the risk mitigation of that, right? So does the risk of bringing that tool on outweigh, some of the other things that could happen if you have a data incident? What does that look like? Is the company robust enough? What does their insurance look like? So you have to kind of navigate all of that. But the problem right now is you have to navigate that in such a quick way, because things are evolving so quickly, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, and on the legal side, that's where, the law firms themselves still operate, and I'm not talking about big law. It's mainly the mid-size law firms. I would say in the legal field, they're ranked. So those law firms that are close to like the bottom 200 or SEPI 200, they are still very traditional in nature. So a lot of them have committees. So once you have to vet something through a committee, it might take a year.
Right.
And then once you get the okay, you're like, oh, that's great. You don't need that anymore.
On to the next thing.
Yeah.
There's a new technology out that we have to look at. And
so that's
run
really
through a committee.
What's tough for the legal industry, right?
Yeah.
So I think some of the law firms that are being able to harness some of that very responsibly and quickly, they're then seeing, kind of those efficiency factors in their bottom line.
Right.
If they can do that in a very responsible way.
Yeah. And I think for all of us, I mean, you said earlier there are attorneys that are like, oh, AI is going to take my job away. And there's people out there who are nervous about that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to remember, like, AI, it's a technology, it's a tool.
Yeah.
And we have to use it and be comfortable with it and at least familiar with it. You don't have to use it all the time if you're still a little hesitant, but be familiar with it.
Exactly.
And know how it can help make you more efficient. Help you do your job. But at the same time, it's not perfect.
No.
Even the ones you pay for, you got to double check everything and make sure it is.
Yeah, and that's where I think making sure that there are systems in place that even in the beginning, if you're going to adopt something, maybe there's 100% QC. So you're not going to see the efficiency lift right away, right? But over time, you're going to see that. And I think also what firms are seeing from that perspective is their employee engagement might go up because your employees are not doing mundane things any longer, and they can push that off to the AI field, and then they can maybe spend a little bit more time analyzing something and actually being thoughtful and thinking through something, whereas before maybe they were spending 32 hours of a 40-hour work week just like rushing to get things done, right? So I think that's a way that attorneys and law firms can look at it, and I think every industry, right? Like, for example, I'm a mom. I use a couple AI tools myself, and what I've been able to leverage in my personal life is incredible, right? So I live right by Bill Stadium, and I was like, I want to know every single Bills game, whether it's home or away. And I prompted Copilot to do that. And within a matter of 30 seconds, I got a downloadable file that went right into my Outlook app.
Oh my gosh.
That linked to my other scheduling apps so that our family can know when there's going to be some traffic issues.
Yes. Plan ahead.
Exactly. So I think even just thinking about it from that perspective, that's a very easy and, juvenile task for AI. But that helps you. Instead of sitting there adding it to my calendar, that could have probably taken me 45 minutes to do.
Absolutely. You're going back and forth between the Bill's calendar and the schedule and then your calendar and putting it in. And
then I probably would have got interrupted 4 times by my kids and forgot what I was doing. So
there are plenty of days where I'm like, okay, I pulled chicken out of the freezer this morning for dinner, but I don't want this kind of chicken. I'm bored. We've had this multiple times. This type. We've made cutlets over and over again. And I would like to ask ChatGPT, what else can I make with chicken?
Yes.
I don't want to grill. I want to use my oven. I have these other veggies. And I get some great recipes and ideas and different things.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Right? And even if you were like, I want to make the following 4 things this week, like what does that look like in a grocery list?
Yes.
It'll pop that out to you really quickly. And again, that probably might have taken you 20 minutes.
Or you're just sourcing online, looking at different recipes, and you're like scrolling through the ads that pop up in the recipe websites.
Oh, those are terrible. Yeah.
And I said, jump to recipe, it doesn't jump. I'm like, why doesn't this jump?
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier.
Yes.
But it is fun to kind of see like the things you can do with AI in your personal life and your professional life. And I think you bring up a good point and start using it for like little easy things that are maybe more comfortable to you than using it professionally yet. Just to see what it can do and get a feel for the platforms. Yeah. And
I think that's one thing I've encouraged law firms, even if you're just finding the right tool and vetting the right tool for inbox management, that can be huge. Yeah. Yeah. I talked to one of my contacts, and he's at a law firm, and they did a little beta test, and they said that with the tool that they implemented, they've now studied it over 6 months. And they're seeing a 25% increase in attorney productivity just based on an inbox management tool.
Wow. That's impressive.
And I was
That's a big jump.
And now it was a beta test, and he said it's probably flawed because the people that they chose were people that they felt were probably not managing their time efficiently.
Okay.
So he's like, we're not going to see that across the firm. But he was like, even if we could see a 10% increase in productivity, so where attorneys aren't a billable hour, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you could see a 10% increase in more billable hours just because of an inbox management tool, that's incredible, right?
It's amazing.
It's amazing, yeah.
And I think it brings up a good point too. Every single person is different. Some people are more efficient than others. Some people manage their technology, their inbox, their cell phones, their data, their everything differently. So if you can find tools that'll help support people that maybe aren't as efficient, and to implement them to make them 25% more efficient, that's a big jump.
It's a huge jump.
Then you have other people who are probably already efficient. They've already figured this out on their own. But
yes,
we all have different learning styles and work styles. So it's like what works for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Finding different tools that will help certain groups.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you work with them to help navigate some of those things too with employee or attorney efficiencies?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of one of the easiest things to help assess in a firm is the efficiency piece. Because, you can come in very quickly and say, okay, you guys have your ducks in a row. Mm-hmm. We don't even really need to touch on that. Or you can very quickly say, oh, wow, we need to do some work here. And I think what I love to do is sit with whether it's a paralegal, whether it's an attorney, or somebody on the business side of the house, and just say, what are you doing here every day? And you can very quickly pick up whether they're leveraging technology, whether their systems are archaic, or whether they have too many systems, right?
Yes.
And the employee is spending time, okay, I spend, 2 hours bouncing back and forth between these systems, and then I got to go here. Oh, and then I forgot my login for my password, so I got to reset it. Oh, and then I got a phone call, and then I forgot what I was doing, right? Yeah. So very quickly you can kind of see whether there needs to be some technology investment or even just time management training, things like that.
Yeah. Time management is so huge for people. And some people, obviously it's natural for some people, and some people need support. Yeah. So let's figure out how we can make people more productive. Yeah, and doing their jobs just better.
Exactly. Yeah, because a lot of what firms engage me for, they say, we need business development, or people don't get it. Can you help us? Mm-hmm. And I would say that's 90% of the time you hear that specifically. But then you come in-house and you're like, okay, no, the people do get it, but they don't have time because they're doing all of these other things that they probably don't need to be doing. Right? Yeah. And if you helped them either be more efficient, shifted things, delegated better, then they would have the time to do the business development things that they need to do, right?
Yeah, and let's talk business development. My background is sales. I do a lot of business development for StaffBuffalo and HR Buffalo, and to me, it's just a natural thing. Yeah. But attorneys, I can imagine a lot of them, they don't have that natural, innate ability for business development. They go to law school. They research. They write. They advocate for their clients, but I'm sure it doesn't come naturally to them. So how do you work with law firms and attorneys specifically to help them develop maybe some more of those business development skills?
Yeah, it's difficult. And there is not a one size fits all. And it's very different. And I'll take a couple steps back. I mean, it really depends on the firm culture, the firm setup, how they are internally set up, even just with how many partners they have, associates, etc. And then it's personality and behavioral driven, right?
Right.
So a lot of times I'll have a firm say, we have this person, we want to promote them to partner. They don't have a book of business. Can you help them? And it's like, well, yes, but this is a lot of...
That's a big mountain to climb. You can help someone get someone a book of business.
And they're like, or even if they could land 2 clients, then we could kind of see, and it's like, okay, wow. But that's always a very hard task. Yeah. Because you have to go back a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Because business development, anybody can do it, right?
Absolutely.
It's about discipline and it's about behavioral changes. Mm-hmm. And if we know anything, those are the 2 hardest things to change.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so in those instances, I have to understand the culture of the firm. I have to understand also their compensation, because a lot of times they're not seeing the results they want purely based on how they're compensating for it. Mm. And that's the quickest thing to change, is if you tweak your comp structure, humans will adapt very quickly. So backing up on that, I do spend a lot of time then, if it's a quick fix like that, making some tweaks, great. Firms sometimes are not very open to comp structure because you need the whole partnership to vote on it.
That's a big change. A huge change for an organization.
Yeah. So that's always the first area they look. The second piece to that is understanding the individual, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody has your inherent motivations, right?
Yes.
And once you can tap into that and understand what motivates them to action, you can help them get to that, right?
Right.
And a lot of times firms say, oh, well, they get paid very well. I don't understand why they're doing this. And it's like, it has nothing to do with that. Right.
Exactly.
Nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
And so I do spend a lot of time kind of tapping into the psychological side of that. And there's tools that I use to help us navigate that piece. But once you can kind of cross that bridge and you can almost self-motivate the person, then BD becomes a no-brainer. Right.
And you brought up something earlier about what motivates people. Some people are not money motivated. So you could change a comp structure or incentivize them based on the amount of business you bring in, but that might not motivate them. And that could go for salespeople too.
100%. Yes.
I think a lot of times I think salespeople are just money motivated.
No.
I remember back in my pharmaceutical career, my manager asked each member on our team, like, what 3 things motivate you? Yeah. Mine was like education, learning, development, and growth. Because I knew that like if I did those things and learned and developed, money would follow.
Yes.
Where a lot of people on the team were like, money. And I was like, well, I want to learn and grow and develop in my career, and then the rest of that will come.
Yes.
And it's just how you look at things differently, and then adjusting what you do to make sure that the person is being motivated how they want to be motivated.
Exactly. And there's so many different things that tie into that. Yeah, a lot of attorneys that I find are motivated by, like public recognition.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's a common one. And so basically, if you internally create leaderboards, if you create friendly competition, very quickly, you hardly have to do much once you've kind of implemented that, right?
Right.
There's a lot of attorneys that are very motivated by legacy building. So that's also belonging, right?
Absolutely.
And that ties into community service.
Right.
So if they can have some type of recognition as a community leader, so whether it's really finding them a board to sit on.
Yeah.
And then networking from that perspective.
Yes.
And then bringing in the business, it's just different techniques, right?
Absolutely.
And that's where, so I come in to solve one problem, but it's really some other things that are going on.
Yeah. Going back to networking, I talk to people about that all the time. Like job seekers come to us being, sometimes they only network when they need a job, or they're afraid of networking. Like, you don't want to go to a networking event. Who do I talk to? What do I do? And I was like, well, you don't have to go to a networking event to network. And like, think about the network you already have in place. If you're a parent, your kids' school, and the other parents, team members, volunteer organizations you're a part of, boards you sit on. So many different ways you can network. The church you go to, the restaurant you go to. Talking to anyone is really networking.
It really is. And that's where, so in the one-on-one time that I do, I spend a lot of time looking at that and asking those questions. Right. Because where do your kids go to school? What do the other parents do? And they're like, I don't even know. Right. Okay, well, your assignment for the next month, every parent that you talk to, obviously you're not going to say, oh my gosh, hi, what do you do?
Where do you work?
Awkward. Trying to tie that into conversations and then helping them navigate. Because especially for somebody who's a little bit more introverted, that's a little bit harder for them to do. So you can help them with, why don't you say this? And this will probably parlay into this. And then you can talk about what they do.
So it's not as awkward. And I think some people are afraid of being awkward and asking those questions like just, hey, what do you do? Where do you work?
Like, and it's funny. This sounds, but I shared this with somebody like several months ago. They're like, what? And I was like, I do a lot of role playing with my clients. And they're like, what? And I was like, no, it actually helps them a lot. So if I'm like, okay, I'm a parent, act like you bumped into me, what would you say? And they're like, oh gosh. I'm like, okay, that's fine. We can be weird and awkward here. Because it doesn't matter.
Be comfortable being uncomfortable. If you're comfortable here as you're comfortable next time you do it in real life.
Exactly. So those are even just like little ways that I think that people, once they can kind of get out of their own headspace, they can be really effective at that. And even with networking, I have so many introverts that they're like, I just go to a networking event. I want to just crawl under the table. But you can give them some specific assignments and exercises that can make them feel a lot more comfortable.
Right.
And in coaching them through what that might look like. Right.
And that's what I tell people too. I'm like, if you go to a networking event, like, find your way to the food table and just start talking to someone about the food. Like, I like to say I'm an introverted extrovert. Like I can be social, I can talk to people, but sometimes I'm just not in the mood for it. And there's been times I've gone to events and I'm like, my networking buddy, for example, maybe had something come up at work and wasn't able to make it, and I already have my ticket, so I'm going in. And I'm like, oh no, who am I gonna talk to? Like, and I was like, okay, walk in. All right, there's a coat check. Let me go get in the coat check line. And I'll start talking to someone there, and then I'll make my way to the bar, and then I'm like, okay, there's someone standing at the table by themselves. I'm just gonna talk to that person because they need someone to talk to too. And it might be a little awkward at first, but it's getting through that, and you
Yes.
make some good connections. The next thing you know, it just kind of snowballs from there.
And that's what I always tell people, lines, what you just said.
Yeah.
Find a line and get in it.
Yes.
Because you're all waiting for the same thing. So at least, at the very least, you can make a joke about the food.
Right.
You can say something to that effect, right? And it's just simple things like that, right? And
It is.
I think even for attorneys and there's other trades like this too, where when they go to law school, they don't do any of this in law school.
No.
And I think it's a little bit detrimental because then they get out into the real world and they become such technical experts and they're so good at that specifically, but they just don't know the rest of it, right?
Right.
And I think another thing we've really talked about, is LinkedIn though.
Yes, good point.
Any introvert that just, it makes their stomach turn to think about networking, I'm like, get online.
Yes.
Right? LinkedIn, I mean, I found incredible contacts on LinkedIn. Never even met them in person, right? And even clients that way, right?
Yeah.
And it's just getting out there, finding a routine, finding what you want to talk about, building your profile. And I had one attorney, they said, well, if I get on LinkedIn, who do I even connect with? And I said, well, once you put your school in, LinkedIn's going to do a great job of pushing your classmates to you.
Exactly.
And I said, even if you didn't talk to any of them, when you connect with them, send a little message, right? And just, you can copy and paste the same message if you don't know what to say, right? But just do that and start connecting. And very quickly, then their contacts will be pushed to you as suggestions.
Right.
And as you build out your profile and have more and more things to put on there, it'll kind of do the work for you based on their algorithms.
Yeah,
right?
it's going to send you like recommendations. All of a sudden, someone's going to pop up, and maybe they're a second connection, and but someone commented on it, and it's an article that you find interest in. Well, then you can connect with that person too.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a great way to also, build your brand too. So for an attorney, if they're an expert in a certain practice area, we'll start posting articles from your practice area and add some comments to it. And then naturally, people are going to start engaging with you, and other connections are going to come, and now you're building your network.
Absolutely.
You're networking online.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's just a different, I would say, like platform, right?
Absolutely.
So you don't necessarily have to do it in person.
Yeah.
And I think, what are there, like 58 and 51 million LinkedIn users? I mean, it's pretty incredible.
It's not just, in this country or in this continent, it's global.
It's global.
Yeah. And sometimes you do have to be a little, diligent on weeding out some of the spam bots and
Yes.
There's people out there who are like, I don't know, why do they want to connect with me? They're not local in this area or this state. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like anything, right?
But,
even on your social networks, just being cautious of that.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
even for attorneys where, maybe their clientele are global, it's a huge platform.
Huge, yeah. You can share your voice, build your connections. And
Absolutely.
I think everyone should be on LinkedIn. And it's we all have smartphones for the most part. Download the app. It's at your fingertips. It's so easy to use it.
Yeah.
And it really only helps you build your brand and your network consistently.
And I will say, just make sure you have a profile picture.
Yes, please. Oh my gosh.
I was like, even if you have AI make it for you, just please have a profile picture.
I know. Like, so important. There's so many times I connect with people and they don't have a profile picture.
And then you're kind of like, oh, are you a real person?
Right. Yeah. And sometimes it's like someone I'm like, because when we're talking to job seekers too, if I'm on a call with someone and I automatically try and pull up their LinkedIn profile. I want to see, are you using LinkedIn? I'm like, if you add a profile picture, looks like you have like not a lot of connections. Start connecting with people, that you've worked with, you currently work with, you went to school with, your kids' friends, parents, like whatever it might be.
All of that,
All of that. Just start connecting and building it out. And it's going to like just be that much more amazing of a resource for you when you do those simple things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I always think too, connect your business where you work at. Like, people like, well, just when you fill out LinkedIn, right? Yeah. You start filling in your company name and it should populate your business if your business has a company page. Yeah. Some people don't even do that. And it's like, you have a company page and you should connect it because it does show your legitimate like work experience.
Exactly.
It just adds to your credibility.
Exactly. Yeah. And even if you're an active LinkedIn user, part of with attorneys, I was like, build it into whatever you do regularly. So I generally will say every January and every June or July, put it on your calendar to go through your LinkedIn, update whether it's your services section, including some of, especially if you're a good writer, there's a section where you can upload all of your cases, all of that.
Yeah, where you published.
Exactly. Do all of that in front of the time, because the more robust your profile is, the more LinkedIn is going to push you out. And then also the more active you are, especially if you're engaging with other users. So yeah, that's something that just build that into what you're doing as part of your again, it's your BD hygiene, right?
Exactly. BD hygiene, it's like everything, all these little things you could do to just improve your business development. And sometimes then it's working for you. Yeah. And you're not actively doing anything because you set it up to do that. Candice, we've mentioned in networking and talking about networking, we've talked about being involved in the community and sitting on boards, and you are very active in the community. Especially with Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Tell us more about your involvement with that organization.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I could probably spend days talking about it.
I know, you're so passionate about it.
I am, yes. Yeah, so I was introduced to an organization when I worked in banking. I was matched with my little, gosh, I think it's 8.5-ish years. Yeah. 9 years. So it's been a really long time, and I met her when she was 10. And the whole concept of Big Brothers, Big Sisters is to be a mentor, but really a friend to a child. And, you know, the children who are involved in the program, very diverse backgrounds, diverse circumstances. And so it really kind of runs the gamut, right? Yeah. But yeah, and they do an incredible job of matching, you know, personalities and interests and all of that. So just 2 peas in a pod, right? Yeah. And yeah, she just graduated from high school in June, is now off to Canisius University on a full ride scholarship.
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing, yeah. So exciting. Yeah. What a good time for her in her life. Like, such an exciting time.
I know, it really is. And so so from that process, I just became very passionate about their mission, right? Yeah. And I think people just, they think, it's great, you know, you're just going to be a friend to a child. And yes, that it's very simplistic from that perspective. But I don't think people understand the true impact of what that does to a community, right? So we see some really profound data in terms of, you know, 20% of mentored children go on to trade school or college, right? But that's huge, right?
Awesome.
And in their lifetime, they earn $56,000 more than their peers.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that's stuff so Big Brothers Big Sisters of America did a study in conjunction with Harvard, and they used the U.S. Treasury Department's data. And the study, it's very long, it's very complex, but basically they came out with very, very profound metrics in terms of mentor children through the Big Brothers Big Sisters program and what it's doing to close the socioeconomic gap. And it's just really incredible stuff. Yeah. So with all of that and understanding how it can impact the community and what that program can do, I joined their ambassadors board, their board, gala committee, you name it. Yeah. So very passionate about the organization just because I saw it firsthand. Right. And my she's an incredible mother, single mom. Through the time I've known her, she went from associate's degree to bachelor's, and then just recently in December graduated with a master's degree.
Oh, that's amazing.
Even kind of seeing that.
Yeah, you're seeing the progression of like the family too. The family. And her own like development as well as the mom.
Absolutely, yeah. And then she's a younger sister who is now on the wait list to be matched as well. Aww. So yeah, just full circle, right?
Yeah, and it's just such a great organization. The people involved, like the care and passion they have behind it. And when you see those numbers, again, we're going back to data, like we talked about in the beginning. It tells a great story. It does. And the impact it's making, not only in the lives of each of these people, but the community as a whole.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and so from that, I felt that was an organization that I wanted to invest my time in, because what better investment in the next generation? And I know you know that from your time at Buffalo Prep, being on the board. I think what you can do to invest in in the future, there's no better place to invest, right?
I know. Every time I'm around the preppies, the Buffalo Prep and the scholars, it's just, I'm amazed at how brilliant they are and the work they're doing and their goals in life that they talk about. I don't know if I had those goals when I was their age. What opportunities were out there?
No, and we saw each other at the gala for Buffalo Prep. Yep. Mm-hmm. And that was also their graduation ceremony. And hearing firsthand what some of these kids had planned for their future, what they've already accomplished, I was like, wow, I didn't do that when I was graduating high school.
Even they come on stage in front of a big group of about 500 people. Yeah. They don't know, and they say, their name, where they're graduating high school, where they're going for college, or, advanced schooling. and what they want to do post-graduating high school. And I don't know if I would have had the confidence to get up on stage at a microphone and tell a large room of strangers who I am and what I want to do in my life.
No, and it's
that's intimidating in its own.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think any of that work that you're doing, it's so impactful.
Yeah, and you do see, like, when you see the impact that it's making on the lives of others and the community as a whole, it's just amazing.
It's so rewarding.
Yeah. Now, going back to Miller Advisory Group.
Yes.
Aside from like business development, I know there's different components within it, but like what other services are you offering your clients?
Sure. Yeah. So I do a fractional component, which I know some people are very familiar, some not. And from that perspective, I explain it this way. So I kind of plug in to the executive level, depending on the problems, pain points that they're having. And I am a fractional, so that means that I'm spending a fraction of my time for multiple clients, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of being a full-time employee, they hire you as a consultant, as a fractional. And you could have 10 hours a week, you could have 5, 20, just really depending on the
right.
And so with that engagement, I generally work with, whether it's a COO, a CFO, a CMO, that type of level, and help them solve problems, right? And some of the problems are very complex, and they span multiple business units, right? And so, for example, right now it's the AI thing. How are firms even vetting that? But what I'm doing from that perspective is basically another brain, if you will, another set of hands to help those executives kind of sort through the mess, figure things out, tap into my network, and bring them some solutions, right?
Right.
And whether we're publishing a paper together that's going to go to the board, or if it's a presentation of, hey, here's the problem internally, here are 3 to 4 recommendations, and if you pick 1 or 2, let's vet that out. Yeah. And this is what it looks like for your bottom line.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So who are your ideal clients?
Sure. Yeah, law firms.
Yeah.
I know I get asked a lot of times, will you work for this industry or that industry? I could, but I won't.
Yeah.
This is what I know.
You found your niche.
I found my niche, and there's 8,000 mid-sized law firms in the U.S. So there's plenty of work.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's law firms. Sizing doesn't really matter. I will say, based on my pricing structure, if they're very, very small, generally they're not going to be able to afford my services. And if they're, I would say, probably ranked within the top 100 in the U.S., they're going to be able to hire somebody full-time.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's generally not where I've been spending my time.
Yeah.
So anywhere in between. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they get in touch?
Sure. LinkedIn profile. Let's see. It's Candice A. Miller.
Yeah.
Miller Advisory. We also have a LinkedIn as well. I have a website. What is that? MillerAdvisory.group. Mm-hmm. We're not a .com.
Not .group. I like that though.
Yes.
That works.
Yeah. You can find me there, or my email, CandiceMillerAdvisory.group.
Perfect. Yeah. Is there anything else that we want to chat about today, or anything else we've missed to share with our listeners?
No, I think we've touched on so much.
So much. I know.
So much. And yeah, I mean, there's just so many pain points for every different industry. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this has been really fun.
Yeah, no, I was so excited to have you on the Pain Points podcast. And I think, as we're talking about, what you do, there's pain points that so many organizations, especially law firms, navigate every single day. And there's no better way than to have a partner to help you navigate and solve some of your pain points and provide solutions. Yeah. So it's great that you're offering these services to the law firms to help them grow and develop and be, more efficient, more profitable, and that their attorneys as well are becoming the best that they can be in what they do and really growing and thriving in their careers.
Yeah, absolutely. And focusing on what they want to focus on, which is the actual legal work versus all the problems, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we could talk all day about a lot of that type of stuff, but I appreciate you joining us today, and thank you for listening to the Pain Points podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Pain Points podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to follow us so you never miss out on future episodes.